First of all, Derek, start with you. Of all these games last week, what was kind of the one or two things that really jumped out at you?
One of the things that stuck out for me was, of course, I picked Knock to lose going up to North Newcastle, and they came home with a win, which is standard.
Standard practice for Derek.
Yeah, but the thing with Knock is now that they got to feel like they're helpless. They're done with their conference schedule. They still have a shot at the playoffs, but they have to hope other games go their way. So Frank Whalen and the other guys down at Knock, the coaches, the players, are going to be keeping their eyes on several scores this Friday that affect their playoff chances. And Summit, did you not tell me that Summit actually led that game against Valley late?
Yes, Summit led.
So they
Summit led with the middle of the fourth quarter.
Wow, and they ended up falling to Valley, but just good to see them actually in a game,
yes,
competitive, and even though they fell 22-20, close score, hopefully they can have maybe they can win one by the end of the season, but we'll see.
All right, John Henrietta, our sports editor.
Yes.
Looking at this list of games from last week, what jumped out at you?
Well, a lot of things surprised me, actually. I'll start out with Knock Newcastle. Newcastle opened the game with back-to-back onside kicks. That surprised me. They got the ball, actually, both times.
Yeah, they didn't want to go up against that option offense.
No, they did not. Triple option. They wanted no part of that. But that surprised me, starting a game out like that. And Hickory giving Siprock the fight that they gave them. Hickory actually led the game through three quarters, I think, 17-14. Siprock rallied to win that game. And final thing is, I guess this doesn't surprise would be the wrong word because they do it every week. I guess respect I have for the defense of Seneca Valley. Week after week after week, they just give up next to nothing. Only giving up 7 points to Woodland Hills. I did some checking on where the defense for Seneca Valley stands in terms of the Whitfield. They've given up the fewest points in all of 6A, WPL 6A this year, and only 5 schools throughout the Whitfield have allowed fewer points. Those 5 are Gateway, Allen Quippa, Thomas Jefferson, Burgestown, and Clairton. So some pretty good programs there. So
Connellsville not on that list?
No, you're not going to find Connellsville on there.
Uniontown, obviously, not on that list.
So those are things that I can take away from last week.
Yeah, very impressive again for Seneca Valley. They're definitely in rarefied air of their defense. What struck out at me is Mars beating Fox Chapel, but not just beating Fox Chapel.
Pounding Fox Chapel.
Yes. We know their defense is sound and staunch, but now they're starting to put up points. If you have a Mars offense that can put up 49 points, get Garrett Rankin going, get that passing game going, they're going to be a tough out. I mean, they have the defense, and now they're putting points up on the board. That's a scary team. That's a team I would not want to be playing in the 5A playoffs here coming up. And another thing that struck out at me, Union AC Valley, 62-0.
Yep.
That's great for them.
They've
struggled the last two years with one win each of those years. They're 4-4 now. They're pounding teams. They're definitely on an upswing.
Playoff bound.
That's another scary team I wouldn't want to play because their defense has been surprisingly very good this year. Usually that's an area where they kind of struggle. Couple that with their offense now, and they're on a roll.
They are. Their defense is the biggest turnaround. Last year they got shredded by teams.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't stop anybody's running game. Teams just warm out, pounded on, scored a lot of points against them. This year, totally different situation. Hats off to Brad Dittman, their first year head coach.
Yeah, it seems
he's done a pretty impressive job.
It seems like every game they're getting better and better.
Yep,
both sides.
they are.
Special teams even, and it's come around for them too. So, kudos to Union AC Valley. They're a surprise, shocking, on a roll team right now. Okay, now we go to the over/under segment, which is getting very difficult to come up with these.
Can't wait to hear your over/under.
This is 24 or 25, 26, and 27th over/unders of the year, and that's getting hard. It's getting hard, but I did come up with 3.
Okay.
Maybe not the best 3, but I did come up with 3. We'll start with Scoop. Good old Scoop is on a roll. Another undefeated week. 74-10.
Yeah.
That's an 881 winning percentage for Scoop at this point in the season.
He wants a new contract.
He's going to hold out. He's not going to make any more picks until he gets a new contract.
He wants a better brand of birdseed than what we've.
Yes, he does. So the first over/under is: will Scoop finish with over or under an 880 winning percentage at the end of the year? John, what do you think?
Oh, I'm going over, no question.
That's hard.
It is hard. Plus we're going to be factoring playoff games too down the stretch. And playoff games are always hard to pick. but I got all the faith in the world in Scoop. He's having his best year ever, career year for Scoop. He's going over 100 wins, and he will eclipse that 80 winning percentage.
What do you think, Derek? Do you think he comes home with a better winning percentage than what he has now?
I'm going to go under. Very impressive. But last year he finished 97-23, and that's basically 80.5%, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to do better than that, but I see him coming under 88%, which is what you said he's at right now. As John alluded to, coming up, we got some playoff games. Playoff games, the competition gets stiffer. Might lose a few games there. So I'll say he comes in 86, 87, which is still really impressive. But he's going to be under 88. That's
I agree with Derek. Sorry, Scoop, but I think you're going to run into a little bit of a
I got your back,
patch.
Scoop. I'm with you, Scoop.
You're going to run into a little rough patch because all it's going to take is a 2-3 loss week. We got some tough games coming up even this week. You can come up a little short, Scoop.
The bird is the word. The bird is the word.
Sorry to say, even with the bad puns,
the word.
even with the bad puns on my left here, I don't think he's going to
Flying high.
Flying
high.
All right, over under number 2. The Slippery Rock offense has been a big play machine here the last 3 weeks. 9 touchdowns and 50 or more yards for them in the last 3 weeks. They play Oil City this week. Oil City 7-1. They have a pretty decent defense and obviously a great running back in Christian Cole. But the Slippery Rock get over or under 1.5 scoring plays of 50 plus yards or more.
You mean this week?
This week against Oil City.
1.5. The over under 1.5.
Yep. Did they go over or under 1.5?
I'm going under. I see them getting one. I don't see them getting more than one. I'm going to go under.
Derek, do you think you're going
We're
under?
talking scoring plays.
Scoring plays, touchdown plays.
I'm actually going to go under here. I mean, I read your story. Larry Wonderuse was quoted recently saying you're never going to turn down big plays, but in a perfect world, especially when you're going up against a team with a 2,400-yard back like Oil City, you want to have sustained drives, and I think that's what they're going to put the focus on this week. Maybe a kid breaks one, maybe they hit a long pass, but I could see one, but not two.
I think they're going to go over. I think they're going to get 2. Because I think Vito Pelosi, Caleb Kammerer, and those 2 receivers they have, Nathan Hyatt and Patrick Shea, can go the distance every single time they touch the ball. I think they will.
Okay, the other point is Oil City, everyone talks about their offense and that great running back they have. They only give up 93 points in 8 games. So they don't give up many points either.
No,
that's another factor.
But Slippery Rock, I don't think they faced an explosive offense like Slippery Rock this year. Especially with the way Vito Pelosi and Caleb Kammerer and that gang is playing right now. I see them maybe getting a touchdown on a special teams play too, because they're dangerous on that side of the ball or that aspect of the game too. So I say they go over. All right. I had a really hard time coming up with a third one. So this kind of really isn't really high school related, but is kind of football related. If anyone knows John Enneretto, he knows he's in fantasy football league with his family.
Geez.
But
you're picking my fantasy team now.
No, not really, but somehow he ended up with a fantasy team from Philadelphia that he has no idea how he got this team. He has no idea how he got
it's
this.
just on my
random
phone.
team.
It's on my phone, and I'm at the controls of it.
He just logged on and he had this team in Philadelphia. And my question over under is, how many wins will this team end up with? Over under 4.5.
I don't even pay attention to this team.
I know that's why I'm posing this question. Do you think
it's under?
What's your record right now?
They have 1 win.
1 win.
How they got it, I have no idea. They
Do you even know who's
I
on the
don't
team?
even know who's on that team. It's under, way under.
So there, what are you saying?
What's the over under?
Based on that, 4.5 wins.
Way under.
For his Philadelphia
I'm gonna go
fantasy
over.
team.
I'm gonna go over. Sometimes when you pay attention to something and you're trying to make the changes, it happened to me in fantasy baseball pretty much every year.
Don't give me my point.
When you're not paying attention to something and you're not really trying to make the team better, that's when it's going to happen. John, you're going to 5 wins. I got you with 5.
Their players may be getting injured. I'm not replacing them. Half that lineup might even be not playing right
You
now.
got a shot.
That's why I'm going over. That's why I'm going over, because the more you mess with your team, the worse they do. So if you're not messing with this team, that means this team's going to win the whole thing.
For the record, I won 2 in a row, by the way. My actual team, I won 2 in a row. So.
Your Philadelphia team's going to win the whole league, and you're not even going to know it. That's the kind of quality GM you are.
All right.
Fantasy football. Like I said, I was reaching. This is tough coming up with these over unders.
That's not a reach. That's a desperation lunge. That's more than a reach.
That's the play Tampa Bay ran at the end of the game against Atlanta yesterday. The quarterback sneak right lateral play.
Okay.
So that was our over-under, better for worse.
All right.
Okay. Now on to something that is a legitimate topic. The brilliance of Garrett Ranke, the Mars senior running back. He is having one of the best seasons ever by a running back at Mars. 1,342 yards, 15 touchdowns, 176 carries. And he's leading our scoring trophy race, I believe, with 90 points. I haven't done the final tally yet for last week, but I have to believe with the 5 touchdowns he had last week that he's probably in the lead. So we're going to start with you, Derek, since you've covered a lot of Mars football over the years and a lot of Mars running backs over the years. Where does Garrett Ranke rank with some of the best all time in that program's history?
Well, if you go straight stats, here's the names that I have come up with. I didn't double check this with Heinauer, but I know Bill Bears had him. He leads the program. The all-time record. Josh Schulteis, Brad Mueller, Austin Milley, and I think Isaiah Johnson. He should break Isaiah Johnson. He'll move into 5th by the end of the season. But one thing you got to remember about Garrett is last year he was injured. He completely missed 1 game. He had 3 other games when he only had actually 10 or less carries in 3 games. So he could have put up more. He actually rushed for 533 yards last year. Could have been more had he not been injured. When I think about Garrett Ranke, I go back to the first game I covered that he played in, Whitbill semifinal 2015, Isaiah Johnson, back injury. He's a game-time decision. He ends up not playing. Heinauer throws Ranke in there, rushes for 3 touchdowns. Mars lost the game. It was wild. It was like 48-41, but I'm watching this kid run the ball in the wing tee, which you know he's going to be getting the ball in the future because they're run heavy, and he scores 3 touchdowns in the Whitbill semifinal playoff game. So finally this year he's healthy. And he's getting the ball a lot, and he's doing the job for him. And the thing is, he's not big. You've covered lacrosse and football. He's not big. No, he's what, 5'8"? He's
solid.
Strong, very strong.
He's got tree trunks for arms right now, and tree trunks for legs. So he's kind of a perfect build for a running back.
Very good lacrosse player too.
Very good lacrosse player. John, where do you think he ranks?
Well, Mars always has outstanding backs, and there's a reason for that because it's the offensive system that they run. They groom that offense, and that guy that put in that running back position is always going to tell that big yard. That's just how their offense works. So I'll go strictly by the eye test on this one. I'm paying no attention to stats whatsoever. Garrett Ranke, though, is up there among the best Mars backs that I've seen. I agree with Derek. I put Bill Bear number 1. I think Billy Bear is the best Mars running back that I've seen. Austin Mealy's number 2, and I put Ranke 3rd.
Yeah, I would go with Bear too as number 1. I saw him play quite a bit. He was almost impossible to stop. But Garrett Ranke's up there, like you guys said. He's up there. It's kind of a shame that he was hurt so much last year with those 2 ankle injuries that really slowed him down. It'll be interesting to see what he could have done last year if he was healthy. This year it seems like he's healthy and he's putting up big numbers. The thing with Garrett Ranke is he's kind of projected at the next level as a slot receiver. So that shows you how good of a athlete he is that college coaches see him moving out to the slot and being a dangerous receiver. He doesn't really catch a lot of passes in his offense because it's more of a running offense and deep passes down the field. They don't really do a lot with the running backs, but he can catch the ball, and it's going to be interesting to see what he does at the next level. But I think he's in the top 5 or top 3, top 3 probably all time.
He's also deceptively fast. I mean, when he gets into the open field, he can run away from people. And if you look at him, you wouldn't think he'd be that type of back. He runs very, very low to the ground. As Derek mentioned, he's not very big, but this kid's put together. He sheds tacklers. He runs low to the ground. So it's hard to wrap him up to start with because of his running style. He's pretty impressive. There's no question.
Garrett Ranke is definitely a fun one to watch. Mm-hmm. Okay, topic number 2. Again, we're starting to get scraping the barrel on our topics even. I thought this would be a good one. We haven't really talked about something like this before. The uniforms. We have quite an eclectic group of uniforms in Butler County of our 11 teams. A lot of different schemes, some throwback schemes, some kind of new age schemes. You got the USC-inspired North Catholic. You got the white helmets that Seneca Valley went to this year. You got the purple at Carn City, which kind of fits their whole theme, and Montauk went to kind of a basic, almost like a Penn State thing with black and white, just plain black and white, which is kind of sleek. and interesting. So put your best E Entertainment hat on and talk about the fashions of our Butler County football teams, Derek.
I'm liking Seneca Valley. I covered the Raiders for all those years. Now that we have the new deadline, I kind of go back and forth between teams. But all those years I covered Seneca Valley, they had the black helmet with the Columbia blue, either Raider or Seneca Valley. So I showed up the first time I covered Seneca Valley this year. I'm watching them warm up, and I'm like, what's this? They got the white helmet,
Yeah.
Columbia blue, Seneca Valley, trimmed in black. It's sharp. And normally you would think, black helmets would be more intimidating. People talk about that with the Steelers, with the black helmets, black uniforms. But I'm telling you what, these uniforms are sharp. I like them, and I say they stick with them. That's my vote. Seneca Valley.
Okay, Mr. Blackwell, what do you think?
Well, personally, I'm more of a logo guy than a uniform guy, but since we're talking uniforms, I'll throw my pick
You
in.
can talk about logos if you want. It's part of the uniform.
I'm partial. I like the all blue Mars uniform. I love their shade of blue, and I like when they wear the blue pants with the blue jersey. I like that. And my second choice would be I like the black numbers on the red uniforms at North Catholic. I like those as well. Those would be my top two.
I like the North Catholic uniforms because they're basically USC uniforms. I think
They are.
sweet. They look sweet. They're very well done. I also like Carn City with the purple. They tweaked it a little bit. They have the shoulder stripes now, which is kind of a classic look this year. And Slipper Rock's always had a sleek kind of a
They
cool
do.
look with the silver helmets, the metallic silver that kind of glows in the light and the kind of the darkest red. So those uniforms to me are the best. We won't talk about some of the uniforms that I think are garish and pretty ugly because we don't want to slam anybody. But
Union AC Valley's got the new
Yeah, they have
the
the new
helmet with the
uniform.
U and the falcon to incorporate both schools. That's pretty.
I feel like as we're wearing an artist hat and have an easel in front of me, something. This
we should start asking these teams. So who are you wearing this week?
you don't see many logos on high school helmets, though. You really don't. You don't
No,
see very many logos.
North
on high
Catholic
school
has a
helmets.
logo. It kind of looks like USC's logo.
They do.
Second Valley, I like their redesigned logo with the SV.
Yeah.
Civic doesn't have a logo.
Yeah, you see very few. You don't
yeah.
see many at all.
On their helmets, but
No.
I think that's kind of by choice.
Yeah.
Then we didn't talk about Knock and Butler, which had the same color scheme, or Freeport, which has a similar color scheme. Freeport this year kind of went to like a goldish, rust gold kind of pants this year. What do you think about that?
Well, I'll say Butler because I cover Butler quite a bit. Obviously, they probably have a Notre Dame type of look sometimes with the blue uniforms and the gold helmets. I like those as well. Those are sharp looking. And Freeport, a lot of these schools. Like we have a lot of blue
Blue and gold.
colored, blue and gold or the blue color. But I like the deep shade of blue that Mars wears. That's what they kind of stand out to me.
Navy
For
blue.
that reason. Yeah.
John, what are you wearing
I
this
don't
Friday?
like that. What's that?
What are you wearing this Friday?
I haven't decided yet.
What are you wearing, John?
I have to depend on my wardrobe and stuff.
All right, so that was that topic.
Wait till next week. It's my turn.
That was impressive, man.
It's going to be bottom of the barrel next week, Blades.
We're not winning an Emmy for this show. All right, this
Let's
week's
move on.
picks. This week's picks. We got
All
an
right.
interesting game. Let's start with Butler. Butler at Hempfield. The Golden Tornado still struggling. They did score 10 points last week against Central Catholic.
First touchdown in 5 weeks.
First touchdown in 5 weeks. So, what do you think, John? Do you think they can give Hempfield a battle this week?
I think they will give Hempfield a battle, even though it's at Hempfield. Hempfield, I didn't realize this. I just looked this up last night as some time working last night and dug up a few little tidbits here. And Hempfield's dropped 16 straight to 6A teams. They have not beaten a 6A team in the last 16 games. So Hempfield wants this game badly. Hempfield's 1-7 overall. Obviously, that one was not against a 6A team. Both these teams are winless in the Quad County. Obviously, Butler's 0-6 and Hempfield's 0-7. But when you're losing, like these teams, these two programs are losing, confidence is everything, and it becomes such a mental game. If Butler can score first at Hempfield, they could plant a seed at doubt in Hempfield's mind, because right now I'm sure Hempfield's convinced they're gonna take Butler out. They've seen Butler's final scores, so if Butler can score first, it's going to be be a dogfight. I think it's going to be a close game anyway, but I'm going to go with Hempfield 28-14. Butler scores twice in this game.
What do you think, Derek? Do you think Butler can get in the winning column this week?
They could, but the question is, it could go. John mentioned if Butler gets up. The other way, if Butler gets down, those kids have dealt with a lot of adversity this year. How do they treat that if they're down 14-0 after one quarter? Hempfield's got some athletes. They got a decent quarterback, and I think this game's going to be closer than most Butlers played this year. But I still have Hempfield winning 35-9.
Yeah, John brought up a good point, and I'm going to kind of elaborate on it. I think this game might come down to who scores first, and like you said, plants the seed. Because when both teams are struggling like they are, confidence is everything.
It's so mental. It's
such a mental game.
Yep.
I think if Penfield comes out and scores quick and goes up 7-0, you can see the Butler heads droop. If the opposite's true, you're gonna see the Hempfield heads droop. But I still think Hempfield has a little bit too much, like Derek said, a little bit too many athletes, too much talent. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna come down to the wire. But I think Hempfield pulls it out 35-21.
I'll tell you one other key to this game before we move on is Butler in the last 3 or 4 games has gone to a power running game with a wildcat look, and it's been effective for them. They move the ball, they chew up clock. If they're able to move it and chew up clock and then finish, they'll win this game. But granted, it's a big if, but that's clearly what they've been trying to do.
We'll see what happens on Friday in Hempfield. All right, Derek, Seneca Valley at Pine Richland. This is another big test for Seneca on that defense. I think this is one of the marquee games on the schedule this week. What do you think is going to happen there?
Yeah, I'll be at this one. I'm looking forward to it. But I'm not looking at this game to say, okay, Seneca Valley's going up against a good offense. Let's see if this defense is for real. We know Seneca's defense is for real. Just a few weeks ago, they went up against an NA team that averaged more than 40 points a game and held the Tigers to 10. They still lost the game, but they held a really good offense to 10. The factor I think is going to be a difference in this game is Pine Richland running back Luke Meckler. The kid, he's got 688 rushing yards, which at this point in the season doesn't sound like a whole lot, but he's averaging 9.2 yards a carry, scored 15 touchdowns. I think Seneca Valley's defense is legit. The question is, can they make enough plays in this game to win it? And I think this week, unlike most of the year, they fall short. I see Pine Richland winning this game 21-14.
Yeah, the Seneca defense isn't going to dictate if they win or not. It's going to be Seneca's offense is going to dictate if they win or not. They're going to have to score more points than I think that they're used to scoring, because I think Pine Richland is going to dent the scoreboard a little bit. They dent the scoreboard against just about everybody. So I think Pine Richland's going to eat this one out. It's going to be really tight, 21-18. Pine Richland. I think they score late to win, but still, Seneca is going to show a lot of people, hey, we're not going to be an easy out in the playoffs. So, John, what do you think? Do you think Seneca can go to Pine Richland and
I agree with
upset?
you guys. I think they'll give them a fight, but Pine Richland's offense, and again, I've given kudos to Seneca Valley's defense many times on this show, but Pine Richland's offense is just so dynamic. I mean, they can run the ball, they can throw the ball to a number of different people. Their quarterback's an athlete, a younger kid who's been getting better every week. Seneca will hold them down, but Seneca's not going to score enough points to pull off an upset. I go with Pine Richland 28-17.
All right, so we have a sweep for Pine Richland there. Let's go Mars at Kiski. Derek, what do you see happening in this contest?
Well, Kiski started off the season 3-1, and now they've lost their last 4 games, including the last 2 by a combined score of 113-6. So I still have to call Sam Albert. He's the coach at Kiski now, the old Butler coach. So I got to find out what the story is with them. But one thing's for sure, they're not clicking like they were earlier in the season. Mars coming off that dominating performance on the road at Fox Chapel, Garrett Ranke, Tyler Kolakowski throwing the ball, that defense. I don't give Kiski much of a shot in this game. Mars 35-13.
So, John, do the planets keep on fighting?
They keep on fighting, and they keep on knocking people out, too. So, here's the telling stat in this matchup. Kiski is giving up 33 points a game. That's a bad omen when you're facing an offense like Mars.
Especially with Mars
that can run the ball.
Player.
We keep talking about Garrett Ranke, but I'll tell you what, I have seen Mars play a couple times this year. Kolakowski, the quarterback, in my opinion, is a very underrated player. I mean, this kid can get the job done, make some quality throws. They got some kids that can catch the ball in the passing game, both that wide receiver and tight end. Way too much offense for Kiski to handle. I'm going Planets by the score of 35-7.
Yeah, Mars has way too much firepower for Kiski to handle. The Mars offense keeps getting better and better every week. Their defense has always been good and has been a steady, solid part of their game. So I think Mars rolls. I don't think they just win. They win big. 45-15. Mars wins, I believe. So let's move on to Trinity at Knock. Knock's done with their section schedule. They have two non-section games left, so they're kind of, like we said earlier, kind of at the mercy of other teams in that section. Playing it out in wait-and-see mode. So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be tough for them to get up for this game. But John, what do you think? Do you think Knock's gonna? How do you think Knock's gonna handle these two non-section games? Not knowing what their fate is.
I think they'll handle them just fine. Number one, because they're trying to put together a winning season. They can still have a winning season. They're 3-4 right now. I'm sorry, 3-5 right now, so they can finish 500. And I think that's important to these kids. They're playing at home. They'll be ready to play. Trinity's not very good.
No.
I think Knox going to win big. Knox triple option will dominate this game. Whether Matt Goodland plays or not, he got shaken up last week in the third quarter. Not sure what his status is yet as of this show here, but Knox will win this game. I'm going to go Knox wins, let's say 31-14.
I think Knock wins, but I think they're going to have a little bit of a hard time because I think it's going to be hard for them to get up for these games, these non-section games. They're kind of in limbo right now. I think that's going to affect them mentally. I do think they're still going to beat Trinity, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think Knock's going to win 28-20. Derek, I see Knock handling this kind of a weird matchup at this time of year.
It's very rare that a team's done with their conference schedule with 2 weeks left in the regular season. That's the case for Knock. Trinity has beaten one team this year, and that is an absolutely wretched Ringgold team.
Yeah.
God bless Mike Zemanek down there, the old Aliquippa coach. He's got to be ripping his hair out. But the games that Trinity has lost, they got 6 losses this year. They've scored more than 13 points one time.
Yep.
I like Knock in this game. I do think that there could be a bit of a letdown. Just all this preparation for section games, and all of a sudden your section games are over with. But they're playing a pretty bad team, and I like Knock to win this game, 22-7. I don't think they'll have much trouble.
I could see a letdown that you guys are referring to more if it was a road game. The fact they're playing at home, they'll be ready to play. I don't see a letdown.
All right. Knock, John says Knock, be ready to play. All right, we go from Knock to another team, York, against North Catholic. North Catholic coming off of absolute drubbing of Uniontown, 70-0 in the game that they led 56-0 at the half. We did an over/under segment last week about whether they would go over 49.5 points, I believe it was, and they went way over 49.5 points. I was wrong. I thought they'd go under, but anyway, Derek, North Catholic coming off of that 70 burger last week. What do you think they were going to do to York?
I heard somebody say that North Catholic Uniontown game was closer than it appeared. I don't know. Anyway. Dustin Schoaf, he is the marked man this week for North Catholic's defense. The kids rushed for 1,700 yards this year and 18 touchdowns. And they've only thrown for about 450, 500 yards all year. So their bread and butter is the running game. And he's gained a lot of yards against a lot of teams. But I would be willing to bet that he hasn't gone up against many defenses the caliber of North Catholic. You pointed this out to me last week, Mike. That Kai Hill Green hasn't had any offensive stats the last few weeks. I got a text out to Patrick O'Shea, the North Catholic coach, to see what his status is. Nakai, if he's hurt, if he is, what's the timetable on him coming back? Either way, just like John said with Goodland with Knox offense, even if Nakai doesn't play, North Catholic's got enough to beat York 45-17, whether Hill Green plays or not.
Well, if he didn't play last week, we obviously didn't need him that much. John, do you see another beatdown by North Catholic?
I truly do. York season is going south in a hurry. It's heading south. In fact, it's past Ford. It's heading for Mexico. I think it's way. Their season's going way south. North Catholic rolls in this game. North Catholic's going to roll. I mean, York's another team that's given up over 30 points a game. I look at those stats on a team's defense when they're facing a tough offense, and you just know it's going to be a rough night for the York Cougars. I'm going with North Catholic, 49-14.
I think North Catholic in this game can decide, okay, do we want to score 49 points running the ball, or do we want to score 49 points throwing the ball? Because they can probably name whatever score they want against York like they did last week. I don't think they score 70 again, but I think they scored 49. I see them winning 49-7 over York, who's really struggling, and North Catholic. I mean, they're heading so much different directions right now. So we have North Catholic with another blowout win. There's another game that could be another bloodbath. Mount Pleasant at Freeport. Freeport, since that 0-3 start, is decidedly on a roll. Austin Romanchak and Connor Selinger form quite the duo. John, you talked to Coach Gillot quite a bit. What kind of job has he done to turn that 0-3 around this
He's
year?
done a super job. Never let those kids get down with that 0-3 start, recognizing the fact that they played, well, not pretty much, they did play the other three playoff teams in that section. Since then, Freeport's turned it totally around. And I look at Mount Pleasant. I don't know what happened to Mount Pleasant. They started off the season, they lost 2 really tight games by one score, by less than a touchdown. Then they beat York 22-16 in week 3. And since then, they've been blown out 5 straight times. Derry beat them 48-7, Deer Lakes 42-14, North Catholic 49-7. Borough blew them out. And you saw what Freeport did to Borough last week, 35-7, and Elizabeth Ford 55-13. Mount Pleasant season's off the charts now. It's downhill for them. You know, Freeport's hungry for the playoffs, so they want to wrap up that last spot. Freeport wins big here. I'm going to say 42-13.
Yeah, you always see several teams throughout the year, either local or even outside of the local market, that they start out well and all of a sudden something goes bad and then they just completely fall off the cliff. That seems to be what happened to Mount Pleasant. Freeport's going to feast on that. They're going to feast on Mount Pleasant. I think Freeport's going to roll, like John said. I think they're going to win 48-14. Derek, how bad do you think Freeport's going to roll this week?
We sat at this very table after Freeport started the season 0-3, and we said, well, the tough part of their schedule's over with, but you still have to prepare. You still have to go out and win those games. So John said it. He stole my thunder a little bit, but I do want to give kudos to John Gaylord. He made sure his team was prepared for these games because, anything can happen. We saw it a few weeks ago when one tour beat Knock, and everybody was surprised at that. So kudos to him. This game's at home. If they win, they clinch a playoff spot. They're not going to let this opportunity slip through their fingers. 37-6 Freeport.
Yeah, Freeport's really only a couple plays away from being a one-loss team.
Oh, they are.
Because a couple of their losses during the season.
They lost in
overtime to Derry.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Overtime.
So I do think Coach Scalot has done a great job there at Freeport, keeping those kids together after that tough start. All right, here's another team that's kind of been treading water here, Karn City. They host Bradford this week after a disappointing loss Karn City suffered last week. So, John, I'll start with you. What do you think Karn City is going to do? You think they're going to bounce back, or do you think they're going to struggle again?
The Bradford Owls,
The Owls.
I like the nickname Owls.
So, who do you think is going to win?
I like it.
We're just off the rails with the funds today.
Well, Bradford's won 3 straight games, including a very impressive win over Clarion last week.
Yes, they did.
34-14. And they've got the running game going up there. Donnie Patterson's over 1,000 yards for the year. Actually, he's over 1,100 yards for the year. 15 touchdowns. They have another kid who's rushed for over 500 yards and 8 TDs. They can run the football, and I think they're rolling right now. Karn City's set back a little bit by a tough game up at Ridgeway. They couldn't get their offense cranking. I think they're going to have similar trouble this week. I think Bradford comes down there and knocks off the Gremlins, unfortunately for Karn City. I'm going to say Bradford in a tight ball game, 27-21.
What do you say, Derek? Do you think the season continues to slip away a little bit for the Gremlins?
This game was for me, it was going to be like a coin flip game until I looked on the District 9 website, D9 Sports, this past weekend and saw that Bradford, as John said, knocked off Clarion. I was like, wow, by 20 points no less.
Yep.
So you look at the teams that Karn City's beaten this year, Kane, St. Mary's, Punxsutawney. Right now, Bradford's better than all those teams. I know the games that, obviously Bradford has the long road trip down to Karn City, but I just think the Gremlins are trending down right now and the Owls are trending up. And I got the Owls prevailing in this game 31-17.
I'm going with Karn City. And I'll tell you why. Look,
They cost you last week.
they cost me, but
They did. They cost
I just don't. Karn City is good against the run, and that's Bradford's strength. Bradford, as I understand, not the best passing team.
No, they're not.
Which
They're
is
really
what
not.
Karn City's weakness is. So I think Bradford's strengths play to Karn City's strengths.
And obviously a long road trip for
And
Bradford.
a long road trip.
Yeah.
Karn City's at home.
Mhm.
They're up against the wall again. They came up fighting last time they were up against the wall. I just have a feeling that Karn City's going to find a way to win this game. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be close. I think they win 28-25. I think they get a late field goal to win.
Wow.
I don't know. I just like predicting weird things.
It
I
would
think
be
Karn City-
strange if the score was tied at 25. That'd be a weird score.
Yeah, well, high school football has
Yeah, that's
some weird
true.
sometimes.
Okay.
So we were a little bit disagreement there on the Karn City. Now we move to Montauk at Punxsutawney. Montauk coming off of a kind of a bad first half, really good second half last week in their 26-6 win. They go to a Punxsutawney team that was pretty struggling pretty mightily lately. So Derek, what do you think? Do you think Montauk goes on the road and comes away with a win?
I think they do. Punxsutawney's lost 4 straight games, and in that stretch, they scored a total of 42 points in 4 games. Montauk's been kind of up and down this year, but even as you said, they're good enough. Last week you said their first half wasn't good. They still found a way to win. Punxsutawney, I don't think they're that much better than St. Mary's, and I see Montauk going on the road. Decent road trip for them, but coming home with a 34-14 win.
With Montauk, it's all about turnovers and penalties.
Mhm.
When they don't turn the ball over, when they don't commit penalties, they can beat anybody. When they do those two things, it's hard for them to beat anybody. First half, they had 2 turnovers and a bunch of penalties. Second half, after a flurry of penalties to start the third quarter, they eliminated those mistakes and will. I think they're going to do it again. I think maybe they're starting to figure out this whole penalty thing, which is just completely dogged them all year. I think they go into Punxsutawney and roll. They're going to win 38-14 because their running game is really clicking right now with Chance Nagy and Cody Wise and Nick Martino leading the way as a blocking back. It's just been clearing pass for those guys big time. John, do you think Montauk's going to roll?
Yeah, I agree with you two guys. I think this is the week Montauk cleans up their act. I think they cut down on the penalty. They don't turn the ball over. I think they play the most consistent game of the season to date. The playoffs are nearing. They need to kick in the playoff form. I think Montauk rolls in this game 28-7.
All right, we're in consensus with Montauk. Now we have Union AC Valley, the rolling Union AC Valley Falcon Knights. I always say Night Falcons. They're Falcon Knights against Red Bank Valley.
Yeah.
Derek, do you see the Union AC Valley train continuing to roll?
Yeah, off the cliff this week, actually.
Oh,
Ouch.
ouch.
Ouch. A fiery
Red-
death for Union AC Valley.
Yeah,
What a body here.
Red Bank they're a little bit down this year. They're not quite as strong as they have been in years past under longtime head coach Ed Wazowski. But I think this is the week that Union AC Valley gets their bubble burst. I think they keep it close, but Red Bank's got a dual threat quarterback named Keaton Kale.
Yeah.
He's thrown for over 1,000 yards. He rushed for about 400. I think he's going to be a little bit too much for that. You look at we mentioned earlier about Union AC Valley's defense being able to hold teams down. They've held the really bad teams down. And I give them credit for that because nothing's a given. But when they go up against a team that has some weapons on offense, more than 1 or 2 weapons that you have to worry about, and I think Red Bank's one of those teams. They give up some points, and I see the Bulldogs coming away in this one, 34-22.
All right, Derek has Red Bank. Does Union and AC Valley stay on track this week? Do you go against Derek? Derek's take.
I don't go against Derek. I agree with Derek.
Oh, man, you guys.
But I can say this though, I do think this will be a dynamite game. This potentially could be one of the better games of the weekend, which is saying something. We have a lot of intriguing matchups here. I respect a lot what Union East Valley is doing, especially on defense. But I agree with Derek. Red Bank Valley's offense, they're double threat quarterback. They're gonna score too many more points for Union East Valley to overcome. This is gonna be a very tight ball game. It's a home field game for me. If this game is at East Valley Union, I would probably go with them. I'm going to go with Red Bank Valley to win this game. I'm going to say 27-24. Really tight ball game.
You guys are just leaping off of the bandwagon. You're not even jumping off. You're leaping off the bandwagon. I'm
let's
going
see
to get
where
in
you're
AC
going.
Valley.
Okay, all right.
I'm on the fighting Falcon Knights bandwagon. I'm staying. I'm staying. I'm going to freaking drive the thing.
Man.
Union AC Valley is going to roll in this game. They're not even
They're gonna
not
roll.
just going to win. They're going to roll. They're going to roll Red Bank Valley because I believe in Luke Bowser. I believe in that offensive trio of weapons they
Nolan
have.
Cumberland.
With Nolan Cumberland, Rainey, and Merwin. I think they're a very dangerous team passing and throwing. And I think they're going to go up and just shock Red Bank Valley. I don't think Red Bank Valley's going to know what hit them. That's how. I think.
thought you're gonna break into singing about alma mater pretty soon.
Both alma maters.
Yeah, you gotta sing both of them.
I'm missing both alma maters from AC Valley and Union. AC Valley Union wins 36-12.
Wow.
That's the boldest prediction of the year for
Both
me.
alma maters at the same time.
At the
Both
same
alma
time.
maters at the same time. The trouble is I don't know either one, so it's going to be hard. I can make it up, but I don't think anyone wants to hear
Well, you
me
know what?
sing.
If Union AC Valley wins this game, we expect you to sing at least one of those alma maters on
Okay,
next
I
week.
will.
If
they
Union AC
win,
Valley
I'll-
gets this win, you're singing the alma mater.
If they win, I'll
Yep.
contact Scott
Yeah,
Kindle and get
I'm sure
their
you
alma
can,
mater.
you can get the tune in the words. I'm sure you can get it.
All right. So you heard it here first. Maybe no one wants them to win now because they don't hear me sing.
You'll be singing.
We'll see. All right, moving on to Slippery Rock at Oil City. We talked a little bit about this game when we did our over-unders. Slippery Rock, tough opponent here with Oil City. Oil City 7-1. They have Christian Cole, who has rushed for 2,450 yards and 34 touchdowns this year. He has
That's it?
5 300-yard games.
Slacker.
But Slippery Rock's defense has been good. Yeah, slacker. But Slippery Rock's defense has been good against the run. John, this is one of the more intriguing games.
Yeah,
on
it
the
is the
schedule this
intriguing
week.
game on the schedule.
Because these, there's not a region game for either team, but it's a very good matchup, I think, for both teams heading into the playoffs. What do you think's going to
Yeah, the numbers that I have, Oil City has rushed for 3,786 yards as a team. So they're picking up another 1,300 yards on top of what Christian Cole's giving them.
But they have what?
And
How many
they've
passing
only
yards do
thrown,
they have?
I have them throwing 26 passes all year.
Yeah.
26 passes. Completing 16 for 191 yards.
Oh,
So
when you got a
clearly
guy-
they're running the football.
A guy like Christian Cole,
Yeah.
you're not going to throw the ball a lot.
And like I said, they obviously have some other guys that can run. There's another 1,300 on top of that they picked up running the football. I'll tell you what, it's tough to go against Hip Rock's defense, though. It really is. I mean, I got one-dimensional team like this, but I think even if they hold down Christian Cole, and by holding him down, he's probably still going to get probably 180 and a couple scores. That would be holding down this kid.
The season low is 126.
Yeah, wow.
So,
I mean, I got to go with Oral City, especially playing at home. But Siprock's going to stay with them. This is going to be a tight ball game, and Oral City's been rolling a lot of teams. They've outscored the opposition 379 to 93 so far. They're not going to roll up on Siprock's defense, but I'm going to go with Oral City in a very tight ball game, 21-14.
Derek, what do you think Seabrook's going to be able to do against Christian Cole and the Oilers?
All due respect to that running game, and it's great. I mean, one kid, 2,450 yards, 34 touchdowns, and one. Well, who is he? Bill Bear? Honestly, that's
Yeah.
Bill Bear numbers there. But
It's beyond Bill Bear numbers,
Yeah.
actually.
If this Oil City team had any semblance of a passing game, I'd probably pick them. But I got to believe with Larry Winters as a defensive minded coach, he's going to get his yards. It's Christian Cole from Oil City, but I got to believe that defense from Slippery Rock's going to find enough ways to make enough plays to win this game down the stretch. Obviously, Slippery Rock brings its own potent offense into this game as well. So I got Slippery Rock winning this game on the road up at the oil field in Oil City, 28-20.
3 reasons Seabrook's going to win this game. There's 3 defensive linemen: Sean Northcott, Mitchell Houston, and Ryan Broad. They've been great all year. They suck up blockers. They penetrate. They shut opponents' running game down. They let those linebackers come in, swoop in, and make tackles. They're gonna. Oil City's gonna get their running yards. They're gonna get their. They're gonna get their numbers, but Siprock's gonna hold them out just enough. And their offense, I think, is gonna hit a couple big plays, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
So I think Siprock's gonna eke this one out at the oil fields, like you said. They're gonna come away with I'm gonna say 31-17 win.
Oh, one other point though on Oral City, they haven't just because they haven't thrown the ball, they haven't had to throw the ball, it doesn't mean they can't throw it.
We don't
They
know
haven't-
though. We don't
They haven't
know.
had to throw, right? It is a great unknown about this game.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
great unknown.
I'm sure Slippery Rock is prepared a little bit. I'm
Oh,
sure they've seen
I'm
enough.
sure.
But I'm sure they're obviously their main focus is going to be Christian Cole in that running game.
Obviously,
And,
so, yeah.
and I think they're gonna be able to if they can take a little bit of that away. I think they're gonna.
Yeah, I'd love to be
force
proven
them
wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong on
I
this.
think they're gonna make Oil Cities prove that they can throw the ball, and I don't know if they can. All right, our last game, Summit Academy at Steel Valley. Summit Academy nearly getting a win last week against Valley, pretty much matching their season point total in one game. They go up against Steel Valley, kind of a whole different beast there.
Oh yeah.
What do you give Summit Academy's chances in this one?
Last week was their chance to win a game. Valley is down. Steel Valley is not. They're a really good team. They're at the top of the conference standings, and I don't give Summit Academy much chance to win this game. I got them. If Vegas was creating a line, I'd say at least 25 points for giving to Summit. I got Steel Valley winning this game 46-18.
So, John, Summit,
Nice.
a little bit of bright spot
That's
last
a
week.
nice effort, a great effort by Summit Academy last
Yeah.
week.
Well,
I mean, they were actually leading the game in the fourth quarter.
Like you said, Steel Valley's a different animal.
Very much so. They're outscoring people 43-18 on average. Yeah, they're going to roll this game. Steel Valley's just way too strong. I'm going 41-6.
Yeah, like Derek said, Summit had their chance last week. Leading in the fourth quarter, good effort. I don't doubt their effort all year. It's just so hard for Summit Academy to compete, especially in the section they're in now.
Sure.
Steel Valley, I think, is going to win big. I have it 35-6. So that concludes our pick section segment of our show.
Yeah, well, we have to go through the last week's results in the season. We haven't done that yet.
Oh, let's do that, Derek. Fill us in on where Scoop is. Well, we already know where Scoop is, 74-10. Fill us in on where we are.
Okay, John and Scoot both went 11-0.
All right.
Me and Mike, we both went 10-1. So Scoop is 74-10. John and I are tied at 72-12. Mike 70-14.
Yeah,
We're all at 70
I blame
wins.
Monotone and Current City for my 70. For my only 70
We're all at
wins.
70 wins at this point. That's really good.
Yeah,
That's
70.
awesome.
That's good.
I'll take a 70-14 record any year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Take that, Josh Rizzo.
Wow.
You
Yeah,
always
shot
got
at Josh
us-
Rizzo
you
out of nowhere.
always
What's the
got
shot at
us
Josh
for our
Rizzo?
picks. Yeah, take that, Josh Rizzo.
Yeah, Josh Rizzo's watching.
Wow.
72-12.
72-12. Eat that. Anyway, on to our final segment. It's always about another sport. This week we're talking about the Slippery Rock boys and girls soccer teams. Both clinched region titles last week, and both are unbeaten in their region. Kyle Hawkins, the Slippery Rock boys coach, recently won his 100th game as the lead of that program, and Sarah Sesser, who Slippery Rock grad who played there and went on to play at Grove City College, took over the job late. She has them rolling to a section title. John, these two programs are always good. It seems like this year they've taken it up a little.
They definitely have taken it up a notch, and then Sarah Sesser to me is a great story. I mean, she was an assistant coach at Butler last year, who goes back, as you say, to her alma mater, where she not only played soccer, she was a standout player there when.
She's
Back when
she
she
was
was
a standout
playing.
player at Grove City College too.
Yes, she definitely was, and she came in at the perfect time. She inherited a talented team. She's, as you mentioned, she's taken that team up a notch or two. Kyle Hopkins has had a quality boys program there for a number of years now. And it to me, the Slippery Rock programs just go hand in hand with the rest of the county when it comes to soccer. We just have an incredibly strong soccer base in Butler County, both boys and girls programs. Most of our schools are very strong, and Slippery Rock just goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah, Derek, what do you think about these two programs and what they've accomplished? Not just this year, but historically they've been good. But this year it seems like Sesser and Hopkins, they're at a whole different level.
Slippery Rock's got their niche, kind of like the hurdlers do on the track team. They're always good in the hurdle events up there. The soccer teams, number one, you mentioned Sarah Sesser moved in. She's a Slippery Rock graduate, but this was a coaching change for them, and they didn't miss a beat. In fact, they probably knocked, kind of knocked it up a notch this year. The boys team, this is their 6th straight year making the playoffs. And they're also competing at 3A this year. Last year they were 2A. So they're going up against bigger schools this year. And they're rolling. Kyle Hopkins, 6 straight playoff appearances. And John kind of started off with this. He alluded to it. The boys and girls team at Slipper Rocket, Karn City, Mars, North Catholic has really, especially North Catholic's boys team. I mean, this is just kind of following in line with what the rest of the county is doing soccer-wise. And now that we don't cover Grove City anymore, really Slipper Rock's our only link to District 10, and it's great to see these teams doing well. Hope they go far.
The Slipper Rock girls program is going to be good for a while. You look at their score; they've had 12 different girls score a goal this year. Their top, I think, 5 leading scorers are junior, sophomore, freshman.
Oh yeah.
Kayla Doherty leads them with 23 goals. They're very spread out. They have weapons everywhere. Their goalie's playing well, Julia Hart. Like you said, Sarah Sesser came in at a really good time. This is a program that's still trending up. And the boys program's always been consistently good under Kyle Hopkins. Congratulations to him for his 100th win. That's a big milestone.
Yeah, they've got a double senior night coming up too this week, I believe.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, that the girls play at 6, boys play at 8. They have a lot to celebrate out there, this year. I'll tell you what. One other note on those 2 teams. They are both going to be very difficult outs when the playoffs start. It's going to take a heck of a team to knock out both of them.
They're balanced.
They are very strong teams. They're right. They're incredibly balanced. You really can't mark their players because they have a lot of people that can score. They're going to be tough to beat in the playoffs.
So that concludes our show this week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Derek will be in the big chair.
Oh, man. I'm gonna
for
call in sick next one.
Come on.
He has to come up with 3 over-unders. Good luck with that.
The over-under gets more and more challenging.
And he's going to come up with 2 topics. Hopefully we don't talk about what team has the best shoes. So
We won't
thanks for tuning in.